Hi guys, so I just wanted to make a video today, just a quick one, about comparing yourself to other people. I think sometimes we find it pretty difficult, especially in the information age of technology, social media, to really focus on what matters to us as opposed to what matters to other people. Um, Obviously, as you guys know, if you've been watching my channel, at the start of last year, I quit my 9 to 5 job, um, and I decided that I was going to set up my own service business. Um, and alongside that, I've picked up a part-time job. Fast forward to New Year's Eve of this year. I went to a house party. When I say house party, a get together of myself and my closest friends and their partners. Um, and when we were there were two couples there talking and discussing their ambitions for house moves, for upgrades on their lifestyles, um, and looking at the future with much bigger houses, much bigger mortgages. They were discussing that in the corner of the room, and my eye drifted across to their conversation, and obviously you can only hear, um, you can't help but listen to somebody if they're talking about things like that, because it's an exciting time for them. So you can see that, and you can wish them all the luck in the world and all the best, as I do. But in that moment, something inside me shifted, and for the following couple of weeks, I started considering going back to a 9 to 5 in order to build up the money to get into the position where we can move from this house and move forward with our lives into a larger house. So I was looking very much at the longer term, which I think is always a very useful and productive thing to do. But in that moment, I stopped looking at where I was and where I wanted to be, and I took other people's positions, situations, relationships, and I stamped it over the top of my own wants and needs. Obviously, I didn't take leaving my 9 to 5 lightly. I've lost, a lot of money. When I say I've lost a lot of money, I feel like I've invested in my own mindset, my own growth, and the potential future that I've been after. So I don't see it as a financial waste. I see it as an investment in myself. But it took me a couple of weeks to actually snap out of that mode of comparison. My friends are earning significantly more money than I do, and they've got partners that earn significantly more than mine does. But that's not me. After a week or so being back at work in my part-time job, I decided that I'd had enough of working in my part-time job, and I called one of these friends who was discussing, upgrading their life on the New Year's evening, and he said that it was a waste of time me starting my business, that it was a pipe dream, and that while it was a good, well-intentioned move to drop out of my 9 to 5, it was quite short-sighted and not irresponsible. He didn't say irresponsible, but it was the wrong move to move back to an old job. When he said that it was a wrong move to move back to the old job, I quickly shut him down in his speech there and corrected him, and I said, no, look, it was for my mental health, it was for my own dreams and ambitions, and there's not a chance that in that mindset that I was in at the time, which was pretty dire after having experienced some loss and personal issues, familiarity and going back to something that I knew about, I knew I was good at, and I knew I could slot back into, was a very important, part of the decision that I was making to leave my 9 to 5. But I just wanted to point out today that comparing yourselves to other people and other people's lives, while it should fuel you with motivation, I think there's a very fine line between fueling yourself with motivation from other people's lives and what they've got, and using it as a vice to destroy your own dreams and ambitions. Just as an add-on to today's discussion, my partner and I went to London last week, and it was a good trip. It was really interesting, as it always is. But on the way down there, I said to my missus, there's not a chance in hell I could commute to London. It was about two-hour trip from where we live, on the train. And I said, this isn't for me. This would not be the life for me. And she agreed, And then when we got into London, you start looking around at the billboards and the posters and the people. And the people carried themselves differently in London. They hold themselves in quite high regard for the most part. There's obviously the main character meme that goes around, and I could tell a lot of the people that we were passing in the street saw themselves as the main character, in the big city with a big corporate job or modelling or whatever, they're doing with their lives. Some fantastic things, I'm sure. But after a couple of days, I'd acclimatised to London and the people, and I thought, you know what? It would be nice to earn more money, and it would be nice to, be able to buy whatever I wanted and this and that. But coming back home, it's made me really realise how grateful I am for my quiet life, for my, cheaper life. I wouldn't want to put myself in a position where I've got to go into a 9 to 5 in London, rushing through the underground network and all of that, the typical rat race scenario. That would not be for me at all. And as I've said in previous videos, I highly regard my own freedom, my own choices. And I feel like when you're in that situation and you're in a 9 to 5 or a corporate job in London, you're not going to have as much freedom as I'd like. And so that's again, it would be a futile pursuit for me to head in that direction when that's got nothing to do with the dreams and ambitions and wants and needs from my life. I want to be around my family. I want to be earning a comfortable wage, but the most important thing for me is that freedom to pick my kids up from school when I need to, and build the kind of life that revolves around something that I enjoy, something that makes a difference, something that, provides people value. And going to London was just another pertinent example of, ending up comparing yourself to the wrong type of situation. So yeah, I hope today's video is a bit of insight into into my life and into the comparing and comparison trap that I think we all fall victim to, particularly with social media. You can be scrolling through, and you can really come off apps like that and feel really disappointed with your own life. But I think it's valuable to sit down, look at your own situation, look at your own life, and while you can use that as fuel to move forward and compare yourself positively, I think the only comparison that really matters is comparing yourself to yourself yesterday. So improving yourself day on day, week on week, and moving in the direction of your own ambitions and dreams.